The festive lights wrapped around the porch banister seemed to twinkle conspiratorially at me. I balanced my homemade gingerbread treats against my side while securing the pile of gift-wrapped packages beneath my other arm. Tonight's journey from Athens to Greenville felt unusually extended. Each passing mile intensified my eager expectation. Christmas celebration at my mother's residence. Our ancestral home has consistently evoked memories of bygone eras. Tonight is different. I halt at the base of the stairway, captivated by the Victorian house's stunning appearance. Brilliant white holiday illumination frames each window, emanating warmth against the December evening shadows. The enormous holiday wreath adorning the entrance door, the identical one father purchased 2 decades ago, displays fresh crimson berries and pine cones I gathered the previous weekend. Chimney smoke spirals upward into the crisp South Carolina evening sky. From my exterior vantage point, everything seems flawless. My exhalations create tiny vapor clouds in the frigid atmosphere as I ascend the stairs. The wooden porch planks emit their characteristic sounds at predictable locations. The third stair from ground level. The area adjacent to the railing where father once accidentally spilled paint. I financed the replacement roof during spring. The new covering prevented rainwater from penetrating the attic space, where mother preserves our childhood keepsakes. $7,200 withdrawn from my personal savings. A murmur of conversation flows through the slightly opened window beside me, the family room where everyone assembles before the evening meal. I instantly identify mother's voice, articulate and measured, as usual. We unanimously decided she won't be attending this Christmas. My grip intensifies around the cookie container. Those words suspend themselves in the atmosphere, piercing and unbelievable. Simply maintain her mortgage responsibility, though. Uncle Vernon's matter-of-fact inflection, identical to his tone at the financial institution where he supervised for 20 years. Obviously, my cousin Monroe follows. She'll continue making payments despite our decision not to include her. That's simply Noah's nature. I remain motionless, treats pressed against my torso, like protective armor. The cheerful gift wrapping suddenly appears vulgar and ridiculous. She isn't truly family. My mother's voice resurfaces, casual, as though discussing meteorological conditions. She's merely useful. For years previously, I occupied a leather seat at Carolina First Bank, pen suspended above cosigner documentation for mother's mortgage restructuring. Uncle Vernon positioned himself behind her, his hand resting on her shoulder, clarifying how this arrangement would preserve the family residence after father's medical expenses had nearly caused her financial ruin. "You're rescuing this family?" Mother had whispered, tears forming in her eyes as I inscribed my signature alongside hers. The surge of satisfaction I experienced finally becoming the daughter they required. "This is your residence, too," she vowed. I never requested any written documentation. Family relationships don't function that way. The initial warnings appeared gradually. The group message regarding Christmas preparations never reached my device. This year, when I questioned Mother about it 14 days ago, her reply arrived hours later. "We assumed you'd be occupied this year." I contacted Monroe subsequently. No response. I should have recognized the behavior pattern from the previous Christmas, when I arrived to discover 11 place settings at a table for 12. I eventually ate from a disposable plate in the kitchen, overhearing fragments of merriment from the dining area. Now I stand on the porch, grasping gifts for people discussing my elimination. My fingertips grow numb with cold inside my coat pocket. My phone vibrates with a calendar notification.
Mortgage payment minus $1,442.
Tomorrow, the ornament escapes from my grasp before I realize I'm holding it. A small glass angel I brought as an additional gift for the tree. It breaks against the porch step. The sound piercing and conclusive. In the silent night. Inside, the voices cease. "Did you hear something?" Monroe inquires. I step backward, away from the shattered glass. My shoulders straighten as something transforms within me. I turn and walk purposefully toward my vehicle, each step deliberate and composed.
"No fleeing. No weeping. Not yet."
The screen of my phone illuminates in the darkness of my car. Tomorrow's scheduled mortgage payment $1,442. The identical amount I've contributed every month for 4 years. while they determined if I was family or merely useful. I start the engine. The Christmas lights of the house. My house, according to the bank, reflect in my rearview mirror as I drive away. They've made their decision. Now it's time for me to make mine. The following day, the financial documents spread across my kitchen table like scattered autumn foliage. 4 years of statements, each page. A month of my existence converted to figures. My hands shake as I calculate the final column on my calculator. $69,216. The amount glows on the small screen, accusing me, nearly $70,000 contributed toward a house where I'm unwelcome. A house where my mother, Uncle Vernon, and Cousin Monroe sit in comfort, discussing my exclusion as casually as discussing the weather. I push back from the table, my chair scraping against the tile floor of my Athens apartment. Morning sunlight streams through the blinds, catching dust particles in its beam. Outside, my neighbors prepare for Christmas with twinkling lights and inflatable snowmen. Inside, I'm dismantling the illusion of my family. The warranty deed sits in the center of my financial archaeology. I discovered it online last night in the county records, my name conspicuously absent despite appearing on every mortgage statement. Uncle Vernon's banking expertise at work, keeping me financially responsible while legally powerless. My phone chimes with a text from my mother. Did you make it home safely last night? As if she cares. As if she hadn't just discussed my banishment from Christmas dinner. The audacity steals my breath. I pull the utility folder from my filing cabinet. Electricity, gas, internet, insurance. All in my name. The pattern emerges with nauseating clarity. Every essential service, every financial burden carried by the daughter they find useful, but not family. My laptop screen shows my banking portal. The cursor hovering over. Cancel automatic payment. Tomorrow's scheduled transfer $1,442. The same amount I've paid every month since signing those papers at Carolina First Bank. My finger hovers over the touchpad. She's not family. She's just useful. Mother's voice replays in my mind, clear as if she stands beside me. Years of memories flash before me. Standing in the kitchen with a paper plate last Christmas while laughter flowed from the dining room. My absence from family photographs. Despite my presence in the house, the group texts that somehow never included me. I click. A confirmation window appears. Are you sure you want to cancel this automatic payment? Never have 6 words carried such weight. My finger trembles above the touchpad. Click. 4 years of obligation. End in a moment. The next day, the office coffee tastes bitter. But Amelia brings me a peppermint mocha from the shop downstairs. She places it on my desk without comment, but her eyes linger on my face. Difficult Christmas season? She asks, perching on the edge of my desk. I shrug, not trusting my voice. You look like I did 2 years ago, she says. When I stop talking to my sister, my head snaps up. Amelia. Confident, smiling. Amelia. Estranged from family. She borrowed $30,000 for a business that never existed. Amelia continues. When I asked for it back, she told everyone I was trying to ruin her life. Something cracks in my chest. My mother has me paying for a house I'm not allowed to visit for Christmas. The words hang between us. The first time I've spoken the truth aloud. Amelia doesn't gasp or offer platitudes. She nods. James in accounting went through something similar. His parents took out credit cards in his name. He might have some advice. By afternoon, James sits across from me, explaining cosigner rights I never knew existed. They need your signature to refinance or sell, he says. That's leverage they never told you about. What about the utilities? I ask. Those you can cancel anytime. They're solely in your name. The weight pressing on my chest since last night begins to lift. Options materialize. Where? Before I saw only obligation. That evening, my neighbor Eleanor Knox arrives with a plate of snickerdoodles. You seemed upset when you came home that night, she says. Everything okay? I invite her in, surprised when she accepts. We sit at my kitchen table, now cleared of financial statements, but still heavy with their revelations. My family situation is complicated. I say, choosing my words carefully. Eleanor smiles, the corners of her eyes crinkling. Whose isn't? Listen, if you don't have plans for Christmas, a few friends are coming over. Nothing fancy. You're welcome to join, a place at a table. An invitation freely given. The contrast to my family's calculated exclusion brings stinging tears. I blink away. Thank you. I might take you up on that. After Eleanor leaves, I make a list. Every utility, every service connected to that house with my name attached. Electricity, gas, water, internet, insurance. Each represents years of financial support while being emotionally shut out. I calculate the disconnection dates, arranging them in a precise pattern. Each service will end on the 24th of December, Christmas Eve, between 6 o'clock and 7 p.m., the hour when my family traditionally gathers for dinner. The dinner I'm not welcome to attend. My email to my mother is 3 sentences long. I've decided to stop financially supporting a home I'm not welcome in. All utilities in my name will be disconnected. This is effective immediately. I press send, I close my laptop and sleep through the night without waking.
Once.
The next day, my phone buzzes for the 17th time this morning. I know because I've been counting. The screen lights up with my mother's name. A photo from happier times. Your birthday 3 years ago, when I surprised her with tickets to see her favorite band. I slide my finger across the screen to silence it without answering. You can't just walk away from responsibility, Noah. Her latest text glows beneath 16 others, each message more desperate than the last. This affects all of us. I place my phone face down on the kitchen counter and turn back to my laptop, where the spreadsheet of my contributions stares back at me in neat, organized rows. 4 years of mortgage payments, $69,216. New roof last spring, $7,200. HVAC system the previous winter, when the old one died during a cold snap. $5,400 appliances when the refrigerator leaked and ruined the dishwasher. $2,850. The numbers don't lie, unlike family. The phone buzzes again. Uncle Vernon this time. Noah, this is serious. There are legal implications. You don't understand.
Call me immediately.
Legal implications coming from the man who structured the mortgage so carefully, the bank manager uncle who explained how this arrangement would protect everyone while actually protecting only my mother. I save the message as evidence. My doorbell rings, startling me. Through the peephole, I see James, my financial advisor, his leather portfolio tucked under his arm. I smooth my hair and open the door. Thanks for coming to me, I say. I appreciate it. James settles at my kitchen table, spreading documents between us. As co-signer, you have rights. They never explain to you. His finger traces a clause on the mortgage agreement. You own half this property on paper, regardless of what they've told you. The revelation settles in my chest like a stone. But my name isn't on the deed. That's the problem. James taps the document. They deliberately kept you off the deed, while putting you on all the liability. Classic case of financial exploitation. The word lands hard, exploitation. I've been calling it family obligation. Duty, love. Can they force me to keep paying? My voice sounds smaller than I intend. James shakes his head. They can try, but no court would side with them once they see this pattern. You've paid for a home you were explicitly told you weren't welcome in. He helps me organize my documentation. Every transfer, every repair invoice, every utility payment into a single damning file. When he leaves, the weight on my shoulders feels different. Not lighter. Exactly redistributed. My phone rings again. Mother. This time, I answer, pressing the record button for something Amelia suggested yesterday when I broke down during our lunch break. Noah, Elizabeth. When my mother's voice cuts sharp as a blade, you've put us in an impossible position. The mortgage company called. Hello to you too, Mom.
Don't get smart with me.
After all we've done for you. The words stop me cold. Something shifts inside my chest. A tectonic plate moving after years of pressure. What exactly have you done for me, Mom? Silence stretches between us, then. And brittle as ice and spring.
Excuse me.
Her voice rises an octave.
I'm curious.
What have you done for me that justifies my paying your mortgage for 4 years? That justifies utilities in my name for a house I'm not welcome in. That justifies. She's not family. She's just useful. The pause tells me everything. She didn't know I'd heard those words on the porch. You misunderstood.
What?
No, I didn't. My voice remained steady. I listened to every word. Uncle Vernon's voice, Monroe's comments. I comprehended it all completely. Noah, you're overreacting. Let's talk about this when you're calm, she said. I've never been calmer, I replied. Should I send you the detailed spreadsheet showing my financial contributions to a property I have no ownership of? It's quite thorough. Another pause stretched between us. We're family, she eventually said, as though that phrase should excuse everything. Family when you need cash, but not when you're arranging Christmas dinner. I heard her sharp intake of breath. Your father would be ashamed. Don't. The word came out like steel. Dad cherished honesty above all else. He'd be appalled by your actions. She ended the call abruptly. I remained still, pulse racing, anticipating remorse. It never arrived. The doorbell chimed again. Eleanor from the neighboring apartment stood there, holding a covered dish, worry creasing her features. Rough day, she asked, reading my expression. Enlightening day, I corrected, moving aside to welcome her in. Eleanor set the dish on my kitchen counter. My grandmother's recipe, comfort food for when life feels harsh. She paused. Amelia reached out. Said you might want company this evening. The simple gesture nearly overwhelmed me. Eleanor, barely an acquaintance of 12 months, bringing sustenance. Amelia, who messaged earlier offering to help organize my records. James, who introduced me to his attorney friend for free legal counsel. This represented genuine support, not manipulation masked as family duty. My phone chimed with an email alert. The subject line read, Critical Utility Disconnection Notice. December 24th, Christmas Eve. The day electricity would cease at my mother's residence. The house I'd been financing but remained unwelcome in. I chose not to forward the notice to my mother. Some education must occur in darkness. Eleanor remained for dinner. We shared her grandmother's casserole while she recounted tales of her own relatives, the positive, negative, and complex aspects. No facade of perfection. No control disguised as affection. After her departure, I compiled a new spreadsheet documenting all family communications since I stopped the mortgage payment. 43 text messages, 17 phone calls, one social media post from Monroe about ungrateful relatives during Christmas that didn't mention me directly, but might as well have included a spotlight. My phone buzzed again, a message from Cousin Tamsin, who'd been conspicuously absent from the harassment. Check your email. Sent something you need to hear. Delete after listening. The audio file loaded slowly. I pressed play and recognized my family's voices around what sounded like the dining room table. She won't last long, Vernon declared. No one needs validation too much. Just tell her what she wants to hear. I raised her better than this, my mother's voice indignant. She understands her duties. We can stretch this out legally, Vernon added. Keep her financially bound while we determine our next move. Monroe chuckled. Remember last Christmas? The festive lights wrapped around the porch banister seemed to twinkle conspiratorially at me. I balanced my homemade gingerbread treats against my side while securing the pile of gift-wrapped packages beneath my other arm. Tonight's journey from Athens to Greenville felt unusually extended. Each passing mile intensified my eager expectation. Christmas celebration at my mother's residence. Our ancestral home has consistently evoked memories of bygone eras. Tonight is different. I halt at the base of the stairway, captivated by the Victorian house's stunning appearance. Brilliant white holiday illumination frames each window, emanating warmth against the December evening shadows. The enormous holiday wreath adorning the entrance door, the identical one father purchased 2 decades ago, displays fresh crimson berries and pine cones I gathered the previous weekend. Chimney smoke spirals upward into the crisp South Carolina evening sky. From my exterior vantage point, everything seems flawless. My exhalations create tiny vapor clouds in the frigid atmosphere as I ascend the stairs. The wooden porch planks emit their characteristic sounds at predictable locations. The third stair from ground level. The area adjacent to the railing where father once accidentally spilled paint. I financed the replacement roof during spring. The new covering prevented rainwater from penetrating the attic space, where mother preserves our childhood keepsakes. $7,200 withdrawn from my personal savings. A murmur of conversation flows through the slightly opened window beside me. The family room where everyone assembles before the evening meal. I instantly identify Mother's voice, articulate and measured, as usual. We unanimously decided she won't be attending this Christmas. My grip intensifies around the cookie container. Those words suspend themselves in the atmosphere, piercing and unbelievable. Simply maintain her mortgage responsibility. Uncle Vernon's call followed. I let it go to voicemail too. Noah, this is Vernon. Whatever scheme you're running must end now. There are legal ramifications for this conduct. I've consulted with colleagues at the firm regarding your financial responsibilities. Call me back before you worsen your situation. Financial responsibilities, the same ones they'd happily burden me with while excluding me from family photographs. My phone buzzed with Monroe's text. You're ruining everything we created. How could you do this to us at Christmas? Us. The word lodged in my chest like a thorn. There was never an us that included me. I opened my laptop. 3 emails awaited, exactly as I'd expected. South Carolina Electric Service disconnection confirmation. Greenville Gas and Heating account closure complete. Southeastern Cable and Internet service terminated successfully. All services registered under my name, my credit, my bank account for 4 years. All canceled with precise timing, after the last dinner guest would have arrived, but before the main course could be served. I envisioned the scene. Mother's famous crown roast sitting half-cooked in a darkened kitchen. Guests huddled in coats around a table set with fine china. The confusion transforming to dismay as each utility company call revealed the same truth. Everything was in my name. Everything.
My phone rang again.
I answered this one. Hi, Noah. Amelia's voice carried the warm smile I'd grown to cherish these past weeks. Just checking in. How are you managing? I'm fine. The words surprised me with their truth. Actually, I'm better than fine. Good. Remember, you're always welcome here. If you reconsider about dinner. Thank you. The gratitude caught in my throat. After we disconnected, I forwarded the recording Tamsin had secretly sent, the one with Mother's voice clearly stating I wasn't family, to Vernon's supervisor at First Carolina Bank. I attached documentation of every mortgage payment, utility bill, and home repair receipt from the past 4 years. The subject line read, Potential ethics violation by Vernon Caldwell, financial exploitation of family member. Next, I sent similar documentation to the Greenville Community Foundation, where Mother served as treasurer. Their commitment to family values and financial integrity deserved to know about her approach to both. My final email went to Diane Robertson at the Greenville Tribune. The veteran reporter had covered financial abuse of seniors for years. I wasn't elderly, but the pattern was identical, using emotional manipulation to extract financial support. The irony didn't escape me. In trying to exclude me, they'd made me essential. In treating me as nothing but a convenient resource, they'd given me the power to dismantle their comfort with a few clicks. My phone buzzed with a text from Cousin Tamsin. Uncle Vernon just received a call. He's been temporarily suspended pending an internal review. Mom says Aunt Rosalind is panicking. I set my phone down and watched snow accumulate on my windowsill. For the first time in 4 years, Christmas Eve felt serene. They'd always claimed I wasn't really family. But family doesn't abandon you in the darkness. The urgent knocking at my apartment door came at 7:30 on a Tuesday morning. I was already dressed for work, coffee mug in hand, when I opened it to find my mother standing there. Her eyes were red-rimmed, mascara slightly streaked beneath them. She gripped her purse with white knuckles. Noah, Rosalind said, voice cracking. May I come in? I stepped aside without speaking. 4 years of mortgage payments had earned me at least this much courtesy. She entered my living room, taking in the modest but comfortable space with quick, darting glances. Her gaze lingered on the small Christmas tree in the corner, the first one that had ever been truly mine. We've always cared for you, she said, tears flowing freely now. This is all a terrible misunderstanding. I took a slow sip of coffee, the bitter warmth steadying me. Is that why you said I wasn't family? Just convenient. Her mouth opened, closed, opened again. You weren't supposed to hear that. Monroe speaks without thinking. Vernon was just being practical. You know how he is. I set my mug down on the counter with a deliberate click. Mom, why are you here? She pulled a tissue from her purse, dabbing at her eyes. The electricity is still off. The water, too. It's freezing in the house. I imagine it is. You can't just abandon us like this. Not at Christmas. The irony nearly made me laugh. Interesting choice of words. She straightened her shoulders, changing tactics. Vernon says you're legally obligated to continue the payments as co-signer. Vernon is mistaken, I said simply. But I've scheduled a meeting at the bank tomorrow morning at 9. You should come. Bring Vernon. Hope flickered across her face. You'll restore the payments? We'll resolve the situation permanently. She misinterpreted my call as capitulation. As relief floods her expression upon departing, my phone chimes with Monroe's message. You've destroyed Christmas for the entire family. We're devastated. I hope you feel satisfied. Browsing through social media, I discover Monroe has shared last year's family photograph, notably excluding me, accompanied by an extensive post about ungrateful relatives who demolish cherished traditions. 3 family members have already phoned to inquire about my well-being. Their worry is crystal clear. 2 hours pass before the phone sounds again. Eleanor, my neighbor, calls with a warning. There's a gentleman in formal attire making inquiries about you throughout the building. He questioned your financial situation and whether you appeared anxious. I dismissed him immediately. Vernon is leveraging his banking network to investigate my monetary circumstances. The next call comes from Rosalind. The physician reports my blood pressure has reached critical levels. She begins without pleasantries. The anxiety over potentially losing heat and water if something befalls me. I'll meet you at the bank tomorrow. I cut in, disconnecting the call. I retrieve my charcoal gray suit from the closet, the one reserved for crucial client presentations. Next, I review my leather briefcase once more. Property loan documents, service bills, receipts for the replacement roof and heating system, financial transfers. 4 years of monetary records. Perfectly arranged. Plus the audio recording Cousin Tamsin provided last week after observing excessive family strategy sessions regarding the Noah problem. She doesn't belong to this family. She's merely useful. My mother's voice rings crystal clear. Vernon's laughter follows. Come Tuesday, Carolina First Bank's meeting room appears more cramped than I recall. The glossy oak surface mirrors the ceiling lights as I organize my papers methodically. As 9 o'clock draws near, James, my financial consultant, takes his seat beside me. His attendance isn't essential, but after 4 years of feeling overwhelmed within my own family, I won't enter this room unaccompanied. The entrance swings open. Rosalind steps in first, dressed in her finest attire, pearls adorning her neck. Vernon appears next, exuding assurance in his expensive suit and professional banker's expression. Marcus Phillips, the regional supervisor and Vernon's superior, follows them. Vernon's composure wavers upon seeing Marcus. This development wasn't anticipated. Thank you for attending, I announce, my voice more controlled than anticipated. I trust we can settle this matter promptly. Vernon positions himself forward. Noah, your mother is extremely troubled by her recent behavior. Disconnecting essential services during winter months. Refusing to fulfill your financial obligations. My obligations? I respond, opening the briefcase. Let's examine those precisely. I present the initial document. Property loan statements revealing $69,216 in payments across 4 years. The second paper follows, utility expenses totaling $14,522. The third, property improvements including new roof, heating system, and appliances, $31,874. The figures register as Marcus Phillips examines each document with professional scrutiny. A substantial investment in a property where I'm unwelcome, I continue, as demonstrated by this. I activate the recording on my phone. The audio fills the space. We unanimously decided she's excluded from Christmas. Just maintain her on the mortgage, though. She'll continue paying despite not being invited.
She's not family.
She's merely convenient. Rosalind's complexion pales as her own statements resonate throughout the room. Vernon's professional facade crumbles, exposing the scheming underneath. Marcus Phillips speaks up. Mr. Harris, he addresses Vernon, did you orchestrate this mortgage arrangement while deliberately structuring the agreement to advantage your sister while burdening your niece, all while serving as a manager at this financial institution? The quiet extends. I present the concluding document. I'm transferring complete mortgage responsibility to my mother, effective today. I've contributed for 4 years. The property is entirely yours now, Mom, including the mortgage payments. Vernon's tone escalates. She cannot manage. That's no longer my problem, I interrupt. Not anymore. Marcus rises. Mr. Harris, I require a private discussion with you. Immediately. As Vernon is led from the room, my mother extends her hand toward mine. I withdraw gently, yet decisively. I'm confused, she murmurs. How will I maintain the house? The same method most people use, I reply. By financing it personally. I collect my documents, acknowledging James as we move toward the exit. Rosalind calls behind me. Noah, please. Where will you spend the remaining holidays? I halt hand on the handle and turn back. Somewhere I'm valued. Somewhere I'm considered family. Not merely convenient. The bank entrance closes behind me with a solid, gratifying sound. For the first time in 4 years, my posture feels genuinely upright. My pace light and determined. The January breeze is sharp against my skin, but I welcome it. Liberation carries its own distinct comfort. 1 year later, a year later, I'm experiencing a transformed Christmas. Sunlight filters through my window blinds Christmas morning, creating golden patterns across my bedding. I extend beneath the warmth, relishing the tranquility. No kitchen pandemonium. No subtle criticisms about my delayed appearance. Simply serene quiet in my comfortable Athens apartment. I shuffle to the kitchen wearing flannel sleepwear and woolen socks. The wooden floors feel cool under my feet. The coffee machine comes alive with a button press, a personal gift featuring programmable settings, and a thermal container that maintains heat for hours. No hurrying to pour before someone drains the pot. My refrigerator contains ingredients I've never prepared for Christmas breakfast. Thick sliced bacon. Fresh farm eggs. Artisan sourdough from the neighborhood bakery. The substantial cast iron pan, another recent acquisition, warms on the burner as I prepare strawberries for accompaniment. Merry Christmas to me, I murmur, breaking eggs into a mixing bowl. The phone vibrates on the counter. Mom's contact appears for the 3rd time this morning. I allow it to ring until quiet returns. The family residence belongs to her now in title and obligation. The bank supervisor's expression when I played that recording, she's not family. She's merely convenient, still produces a surge of satisfaction in my chest even a year later. My breakfast plate steams before me at my compact kitchen table. I lower my head not in prayer, but in gratitude. I'm liberated. The counseling session started 2 weeks following the bank encounter. Dr. Laurel's office provided neutral ground where I could finally voice the truth. You've experienced financial abuse, she stated directly during our initial meeting. No gentle phrasing. No, but they're family. Simply clear acknowledgement of what occurred. I bite into the sourdough toast, butter melting into the crispy texture. The flavor evokes Saturday mornings with Dad before his passing, when we'd stroll to Thompson's bakery while Mom rested. The memory arrives without its customary painful sting. My new savings account already contains funds equivalent to 2 mortgage payments. By next year, it might hold sufficient money for a property deposit. A home titled solely in my name. The wall calendar displays appointments and arrangements I've created for myself. Financial education seminar at the community center. Coffee meetup with Amelia from the office. Dinner with Tamsin, the sole cousin who regained my confidence after providing that incriminating recording of the family discussion. Mom's reconnection attempts fill my blocked call history. Uncle Vernon hasn't contacted me since the bank supervisor removed him from the meeting. His professional standing deteriorated rapidly following the internal review. Monroe's social media occasionally mentions family disloyalty, but fewer relatives interact with his content now. The house, that gorgeous Victorian with its groaning porch steps and new roof I financed, appeared on the market last month. Mom couldn't manage the payments independently. Sometimes I pass it during trips to Greenville, observing as the for sale placard sways in the winter breeze. The Christmas tree in my living room measures 3 feet in height, adorned with decorations I selected personally. No inherited glass ornaments. No traditions maintained that served another's narrative. Just sparkling lights reflecting potential in each gleaming sphere. The women at the financial education program pose questions I once couldn't answer myself. How do you recognize when assistance becomes harm? What distinguishes responsibility from exploitation? I don't possess flawless responses, but I share my experience, watching understanding emerge in their expressions. I once believed if I contributed enough, remained silent enough, they'd eventually value me. But I've discovered you don't need to occupy someone else's table to recognize your worth. You can construct your own and serve tranquility, not suffering.